Genghis Khan was born with the name Temujin. He lived on the harsh steppes of Mongolia, where, honestly, life was very difficult for his people. Different tribes were always fighting each other, and this constant conflict made life dangerous and unstable for everyone. Temujin experienced great hardship from a young age. His father was poisoned by enemies, and his own family was abandoned by their clan. He had to learn how to survive in a world filled with enemies, and this difficult childhood taught him important lessons. He learned to be strong, clever, and to never give up. These qualities would help him do something no one had ever done before. Temujin did not want to live in a world of endless war. He had a vision for a different future. He wanted to unite all the Mongol tribes under one leader. This was a very big and dangerous idea, and, well, many people had tried and failed to do this. But Temujin was different. He was a charismatic leader making friends and loyal followers. He was also a brilliant strategist, knowing how to build alliances and how to defeat his rivals. Slowly, he began to bring the warring tribes together, using both diplomacy and force to achieve his goal of a unified nation for his people. By the year 1206, Temujin had succeeded. He united the Mongol tribes. A great council, known as a Kurultai, was held. At this council, he was given the title Genghis Khan, which means universal ruler. This was a major turning point in history. For the first time, the Mongols were a single, powerful nation. Genghis Khan created laws and a writing system for his people. He established a society based on merit, where people were promoted because of their skills, not because of their family background. This created a strong and loyal foundation for the empire he was about to build, an empire that would soon stretch across continents. The importance of Genghis Khan in history is enormous. He did more than just unite a group of nomadic tribes. He created an empire that would become the largest contiguous land empire in the world. This empire connected the East and the West in new ways. It promoted trade along the Silk Road, making it safer than ever before. It also allowed for the exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultures across vast distances. While his conquests were often brutal, the resulting peace and stability, known as the Pax Mongolica, had a profound impact on the development of the modern world. His story is one of transforming chaos into order. Genghis Khan knew that to keep his new nation safe and to expand its borders, he needed a superior army. He reorganized the entire Mongol military structure. Before him, armies were based on old tribal loyalties, which could be unreliable. Genghis Khan changed this completely. He divided his soldiers into units of 10, called Arban. 10 Arbans formed a unit of 100, a Zagun. 10 Zaguns formed a unit of 1,000, a Mingan. And 10 Mingans formed a unit of 10,000, a Tumen. This decimal system broke down the old tribal allegiances and created a new loyalty directly to him and his commanders. Every soldier knew his place and his duty. The strength of the Mongol army came from its soldiers. Every Mongol man was a skilled horseman and archer from a very young age. They were raised on the steppe, where riding and hunting were essential for survival. This meant that the entire army was composed of highly mobile cavalry. A Mongol warrior could ride for days, sleeping in the saddle and living off the land. They carried multiple horses, allowing them to switch mounts and cover incredible distances without tiring. Their primary weapon was the composite bow, a powerful weapon that could be fired accurately from horseback. This combination of mobility and firepower made the Mongol army unlike any other in the world at that time. Genghis Khan's army was also known for its strict discipline. The rules were simple but harsh. If one soldier in a unit of 10 retreated without orders, the entire unit would be executed. This created an incredible sense of unity and responsibility among the men. They fought for each other as much as they fought for their leader. Furthermore, Genghis Khan promoted his commanders based on their skill and loyalty, not their birthright. This meant that the army was led by the most capable and experienced men. This merit-based system ensured that the Mongol military leadership was always of the highest quality, able to adapt and overcome any challenge they faced on the battlefield. Another key to their success was their ability to learn and adapt. The Mongols were not just mindless conquerors, they were intelligent warriors. When they encountered new technologies, such as siege weapons from China and Persia, they did not destroy them. Instead, they captured the engineers and artisans who built them. They forced these experts to teach their own men how to build and use these powerful machines. This allowed the Mongols to conquer heavily fortified cities which had once been safe from nomadic armies. They combined their traditional mobile warfare with sophisticated siegecraft. making them an unstoppable force that could overcome any obstacle. At the heart of Genghis Khan's military success was his relationship with his generals. He had a group of brilliant commanders known as his Four Dogs of War. Among them, one general stood out as the most talented and trusted Subutai. Subutai was not born into a noble family. He came from a humble background, the son of a blacksmith. He joined Genghis Khan's forces as a young man and quickly proved his worth. He was intelligent, fearless, and incredibly loyal. Genghis Khan recognized his potential early on. He saw in Subutai a military mind that was as sharp as his own, a general who could understand his grand strategies and execute them flawlessly on the battlefield. Genghis Khan was the grand architect of the Mongol Empire, the visionary who set the goals and direction of the conquests. Subutai was his master craftsman, the general who turned those visions into reality. They worked together in perfect harmony. Genghis Khan would devise the overall plan for a campaign, often involving multiple armies moving across vast territories. He would then entrust the most difficult and complex parts of the plan to Subutai. He gave Subutai the freedom to make his own decisions in the field, a sign of his immense trust. This partnership allowed the Mongols to conduct campaigns of a scale and complexity that their enemies could not even comprehend. Their tactics were revolutionary for their time. They perfected the art of deception and psychological warfare. A classic Mongol strategy was the feigned retreat. A small Mongol force would attack the enemy and then pretend to flee in panic. When the enemy army broke formation to chase them, they would be led straight into a carefully prepared ambush, where the main Mongol army was waiting to surround and destroy them. They also used spies and scouts to gather detailed information about the enemy's strength, leadership, and the local geography before ever committing to a major battle. This careful planning was a hallmark of Subutai's genius and a key reason for their consistent victories. One of the greatest examples of their combined skill was the Great Raid of 1221 to 1223. After conquering the Khwarezmian Empire in Persia, Genghis Khan sent Subutai on a reconnaissance mission. With just 2 tumans, about 20,000 soldiers, Subutai rode through the Caucasus Mountains and into the lands of the Rus' princes. Over 2 years, his small army defeated much larger forces, including a coalition of Rus' armies at the Battle of the Kalka River. This campaign was not about conquest but about gathering intelligence. Subutai mapped the lands and learned about the armies of Europe, information that would be crucial for the later Mongol invasion of Europe, a campaign he would also lead. The military achievements of Genghis Khan and Subutai left a permanent mark on the world. Together, they conquered more territory in 25 years than the Roman Empire did in 400. Their campaign stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the doorstep of Central Europe. They defeated the armies of powerful empires in China, Persia, and the lands of the Rus. Their victories were not just a matter of luck or brute force. They were the result of superior organization, strategy, discipline, and leadership. They created a military system that was decades, and in some cases centuries, ahead of its time, a system that their opponents simply could not match. The legacy of their military leadership is still studied and admired today. Military academies around the world teach the strategies and tactics of Genghis Khan and Subutai. Concepts they perfected, such as maneuver warfare, the use of combined arms, psychological operations, and the importance of intelligence gathering, remain fundamental principles of modern warfare. Their ability to command and control huge armies moving independently across vast distances is a feat of logistics and communication that continues to impress military historians and strategists. They demonstrated how a smaller, more mobile, and better-led force could consistently defeat larger, less agile opponents. In summary, Genghis Khan was the visionary leader who united a nation and imagined a world-spanning empire. He was the one who created the military structure and the culture of meritocracy that made it all possible. Subutai was his most brilliant instrument, the general who mastered the art of war and executed his Khan's grand designs with unparalleled skill. Their partnership was one of the most effective in military history. Genghis Khan provided the purpose and the resources, while Subutai delivered the victories on the battlefield. They were 2 parts of a single, unstoppable force that reshaped the map of the world. Therefore, Genghis Khan and Subutai are remembered as 2 of the greatest military geniuses in history. They were more than just conquerors, they were innovators who changed the way wars were fought. Their story is a powerful example of how clear vision, brilliant strategy, and flawless execution can lead to extraordinary results. The empire they built eventually fractured, but the principles of warfare they established have endured through the centuries. Their legacy is not just in the lands they conquered, but in the timeless lessons of leadership and strategy they left behind for future generations to study and learn from.